Alright, welcome back to the Supercoach Nuff channel. In this video we're going to look at NFL fantasy and looking at a few different potential draft strategies based on I guess any upcoming leagues you have, but in particular the Supercoach Nuffs League, which we're trying to get off the ground. You can see there a little advertisement, Monday September 2 at 6:30 p.m. is what we're aiming for in terms of the draft day. So if that works for people, get on. If not, you can auto draft, and we can talk about that as a strategy. But I guess just to help pump it up, I thought we'd do a few different mock drafts, looking at different strategies that you can employ going into the season. Sort of giving away some of the answers, given it's going to be the same format as our league. So I'm just going to go into practice draft. So it's 12 teams. It's a snake draft, so it'll go 1 to 12 and then 12 to 1 in the second round. We're playing head-to-head points, so that just means you're playing against your opponent. Points per reception. So what that means is you get points for every time you just catch the ball, and then you also get points for the distance after the catch, or including the pass and then after. And yeah, so obviously if you got number one, it gives you a bit of an advantage. So thinking maybe if we go 3, it's sort of in the early rounds. And if we start the practice draft, so probably I guess because we're drafting at this stage, we might have a crack at the Hero RB. I think might be the go in this one. Actually, maybe double RB strategy, just because we can definitely get an elite one at the start. Might not be able to if I draft in the middle. So this is what the space looks like. So you'll see your roster here. You'll see the players available. As well as just got some noise in the background. So yeah, so you can see I've got 30 seconds for the pick, and because it's auto drafting, it goes pretty quick. So CeeDee Lamb at number 1, McCaffrey at 2, so that's great. So you probably have 2 options here. Breece Hall, Tyreek Hill. I'm running out of time, so because we're going double RB, I'm going to go Breece Hall. So now it's just going to run through all the picks super quickly. So you can see like Bijan, Jamar Chase, Tyreek. So it is a nice blend of wide receivers and running backs going in the first round this year. You can see sort of towards the end of the first round, if I go to pick history. Yeah, so you can see sort of wide receivers towards the end. And then, sort of coming back towards running backs. All right, so how do we go? Just trying to look for the player I wanted, but I can't see him there. Start to panic a little bit, but again, we're looking at double RB, so we're looking at filling in the running backs with the first couple. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick Marvin Harrison because I think my option will come back around with a bit of luck. Yeah. So I guess with the double RB, we're looking at 2 running backs in the first 3 rounds. So you could go A-Chain, Rashad Watt, but I love me a bit of Alvin Kamara, so I'm going to get him. All right. So essentially, it's about making sure that you've got 2 running backs. I guess the reason why people like the double RB strategy is that they obviously run the ball, which is nice, but then they also do have the ability to catch the ball. So there's multiple avenues for making money out of these guys. And also, particularly Breece Hall, Kamara, in teams where their running backs don't run the ball so much, they do have the touchdown upside as well. So we've got the option to pick Josh Allen. I mean, Hurts has already gone, and Richardson, they're probably my 2 preferred QBs. But I will absolutely take Josh Allen at the end of the 4th. So we'll lock him in. And now we have a decision whether we go for an elite level tight end, or if we continue to, push through the wide receiver category. So I'm thinking I'm going to go tight end. I'm going to go Kincaid. I could have gone McBride, but I've got Josh Allen. So this is what we would call stacking. So we've got a quarterback, and then you want a wide receiver or a tight end that they're throwing to. So essentially, every time your pass catcher catches the ball, you're getting double points from both the quarterback and the wide receiver or tight end. It does work for running back too. But I guess, when we talk about Hall and Kamara, again, their quarterbacks aren't running quarterbacks. So it does make it a bit trickier to pull off the stack. Could have got George Kittle at this point, so Kincaid wasn't necessary, but it's a nice little stack, like I said. So I'm going to go probably best available. I reckon Murray Cooper could be going to the 49ers at the time of recording, so I'll take him as an option. And I'm hoping with a little bit of luck, my guy's going to come back around. Looks like he is. So what are we up to? Round 7. So Deontay Johnson, I think, is one that I'm pretty keen on and drafting as much as I can. So I'm locking him in. So now you can see we've got basically our starting team set up. You've got elite quarterback, potentially elite tight end and stacked. 2 elite running backs, which is our double RB strategy. And then Marvin Harrison, who apparently his old man is pretty good at football. Murray Cooper, who's a wide receiver 1 in Cleveland and could potentially be moving to a potentially fantastic offense. And then Deontay Johnson, who's, clear wide receiver 1 at Carolina. So, we've still got defense and kicker to go, but we're going to go with our bench, and I'm going to go with McConkey just because I love the name Lad. But also, he is potentially wide receiver 1 at the Chargers, given they've got a bit of a depth issue. And now we're in the bench, we can start to look for some upside. So even though he's injured to start the season, we can just park Nick Chubb on the bench. And I think, that's a pretty good get. How many more bench spots have we got? 5 bench spots. So I guess with the bench, we probably, want enough to cover the starting team. So 2 running backs, probably 3 wide receivers if you want to play a wide receiver in your flex, and then a quarterback. Or you could also have a second tight end instead of a third wide receiver. So at this stage, you're playing for upside. And because we've got Josh Allen, we'll go Curtis Samuel. This is round 10, isn't it? So it should circle back to me shortly. So just trying to decide who we want. 140, how are we going for numbers? Might come back around. I don't know. I haven't really thought this through. So let's just go Caleb Williams as our backup quarterback. Number 1 pick. Should be decent. Could have gone Brock Purdy as a backup at the moment, which is pretty nice. But we'll play for upside, I think. And it's coming back around slowly. What do we got? Pick 142. Alright. So I've got a couple wide receivers. So it doesn't really matter too much at this point. Maybe like Dallas Goedert as a backup tight end would be handy to cover for Kincaid. So we'll take that while it's on offer. Most of these options should still be available. So I'm leaning towards one of the wide receivers here. Probably, I've heard Mitchell's a good chance with Richardson there. Or we could go Shakir, another sort of Buffalo stack type option. Probably about wide receiver 3 on the list, but injuries and stuff happen, so we'll load him in. So just looking at the bench, we've got a few wide receivers now. It's probably a running back. and then we'll start looking at defense and kicker. So, even though they're in your starting team every week, you can leave them to last. Just allows you to strengthen the depth of your bench. So just having a look, it's like Gabe Davis or Elijah Mitchell. So I guess you can get Elijah Mitchell as the sort of handcuff for Christian McCaffrey. If anything goes wrong with him, you'd imagine Mitchell would be the next one in line. Or we can go Gabe Davis, who's experienced there at Jacksonville, but probably want a running back, so I'll just go with Mitchell. All right, and so then we need a defense and a kicker. And I'll go the Bengals. I've heard good things about their defense, so we'll go with them. And then kicker is whoever. Like, just looking at this list, I'm probably going to go Dicker the kicker. Just, again, I love a good name. And you can see with the projected points, they're all fairly similar. Some teams will kick more or less field goals. Obviously, some of these guys are better at field goals than others. But again, preseason, it doesn't matter. You can easily trade in and out for these guys. So Dicker is in. And the last few teams will go. And there's the team as it stands. So, like I said, this is demonstrating that double RB strategy. So, trying to get 2 gun running backs with your first 3 picks. Got those, and then got Harrison Jr. in between. Was lucky enough to get an elite quarterback with Josh Allen. Doesn't always work out that way. At the end of round 4, and then stacked him with Dalton Kincaid, and then just started to get some wide receivers in that we can mix and match. Guys like Nick Chubb on the injury list. If you have an injured reserve spot, you can always park him and get someone else on the free agency, which is pretty handy. And yeah, so covered all the bases with Williams and Goddard as a backup quarterback tight ends, and just a couple of potential upside picks at the end. So that's the double running back strategy. It's sort of, I guess, tried to highlight if you pick earlier in the league, that is a possibility. It's not to say you have to. We'll look at hero RB and zero RB strategies coming up in the next couple of videos. So if you've got any questions, comments, thoughts about this, feel free to get involved below in the comment section. Also below in the description will be a link for our league. Kicks off in about 3 weeks at the time of recording. Maybe a bit sooner by the time I edit and publish this video. So if you want to get involved with that, please feel free to do so. Give us a like if you enjoy the NFL content, and subscribe for all the fantasy sports content. Other than that, I'll catch you in the next one.